What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Jump to Start Racing podcast. My name is Wellington. I'm here with two of my closest friends. Ruben, since you're animated, say hi.
What's going on, guys?
Yhancy.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. So, obviously, today we'll be talking about the review of the Portuguese Grand Prix, and then we will also jump into, because it's a quick back-to-back race, the Barcelona Grand Prix preview, along with trivia, track history, all that beautiful stuff. But before we get into that, I want to make sure we mention the socials. Please stop looking at each other. I see it out of the corner of my eye.
No, I'm also looking at the mic. Like, why also has a mic that way? Is he trying to trying to record like a song in the studio? You know his Hamilton now?
Mom spaghetti. You know?
Put the mic in your face.
I didn't adjust it before. All right, so our socials, you'll see them on the screen. We are across many podcast platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeart Radio, TuneIn, and Stitcher. We're also on YouTube. Hello, as you can see us, at Jump to Start F1 on Instagram and Twitter. At Jump to Start F1, where Yhancy posts pictures to roast me. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that shortly.
What a roast.
Wrong thing. Yeah, exactly. So,
I had to do it.
yeah. Are you guys good? Because I'm not. No. Let's jump into some of the news. Sprint qualifying. Some of the details have been further hashed out. Yhancy, if you could just walk us through the beautiful news there.
Yeah, the everything that we spoke about before has been finalized as far as the money is concerned.
Listen to us.
The only thing that we weren't too sure about is how the points were going to be tallied up after the weekend. So the only thing that we didn't talk about was that. So for the sprint qualifying, we're going to have normal qualifying on Friday. We're going to have an hour session of practice. Second session is going to be normal qualifying. That qualifying will set the grid for the sprint. What are they calling it? Sprint qualifying?
Sprint qualifying, yep.
Sprint qualifying, which, whatever. They should just put sprint qualifying race, but whatever. Sprint qualifying. That so whoever the only people that will set the grid for Sunday.
Okay.
However,
the actual sprint qualifying.
The sprint qualifying will set the grid for
sprint qualifying race.
The Grand Prix on Sunday, the main event. However, there's going to be points up for grab on a Saturday. Top three.
Can I just interrupt?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I have that straight.
Mm-hmm.
Practice 1 Friday morning.
Yes.
Qualifying, traditional qualifying that we're used to now, will happen Friday after practice 1.
Correct.
That determines the grid for the qualifying sprint race.
Yes. Yes.
And then
we have another practice session in the morning on Saturday. Okay. Now, they can change something on the car because the car will be in parc fermé starting on Friday
for qualifying.
Yeah, but they can change a few things with the setup as far as like suspension and things like that. Usually the small little things that they can change up, but they can't change anything else. So we have sprint qualifying as the second section. The top 3 will score points. First place gets 3 points, championship points. Second place gets 2 points. And first place gets 1 point towards the championship.
Okay.
What do you want to ask something? I see your face.
First place gets 3 points.
Yes.
Second place gets
2 points.
Third place gets 1
point.
And what was the other thing you just threw in there? The last thing about it. The 1 point towards championship, blah, blah, blah.
No. All of those points goes towards the championship.
Okay, that's what
so they go towards the team championship and the driver's championship. So as we saw at the end of this race, the fastest lap point, which was added 2 years ago, that could make the difference between the championship coming at the end of the year. Also.
That does not have nothing. The fastest lap point does not go into the sprint qualifying race.
No. I'm just saying that there's just more points up for grabs.
So pretty much teams still could do the normal adjustment that they will do on the car after qualifying on Friday, meaning the normal stuff that they do.
Yeah, it was setup changes. So stuff with the suspension is very limited.
Gotcha.
It's very limited. But so they go into parc fermé. They can do some changes in practice, but then they go back into parc fermé for sprint qualifying.
What is parc fermé?
Where you can't make any changes.
Any changes.
So
exactly what it sounds. You're just there. Parque firmo.
There you go.
So just
firmly parked.
Firmly parked.
There you go.
this is going to be in Monza, Silverstone, and in Brazil.
Yeah, the first race that it will be featured at is going to be at Silverstone.
I am very excited. And
Where
also-
they just announced that they're working it out, but they might have a crowd there, so it's a good thing.
Whoa.
Whoa. All right. Anything else to add to that thing? I mean, we had.
You think that it'll add some intrigue to the championship? As far as like you have more points up for grab, especially by the top teams.
I think. So I don't know if they mentioned what they'll be able to do. So remember last year that they restricted the engine modes and what could be done as far as tuning up, tuning down, etc. If they're allowed to, if they loosen the rule on that, then I think that we're really talking about like something that's going to be hot and not as predictable. If they still clamp down on it and it's still the same regulations that they have for, I guess, during the race and regular qualifying, then it's like, all right, well, okay, it'll be the same crap. Right?
So the points won't.
I think it won't really make that much of it. It'll be a larger lead.
Interesting.
I think the fastest lap point, just what we saw yesterday. Obviously, because it's Monday, we're doing this.
Right.
So just what we saw in the race, the little back and forth thing, it could play out. Like if you start adding the points,
especially if it's very close at the end.
Exactly.
I think it has the potential to do
Yeah.
that.
But how do you see it? How do you see it operating in a way where it's not the top three is not a Mercedes duo or a Red Bull duo, meaning it'll be like just whatever combination of those two teams.
No, that's actually the way it's on.
I mean, this is what we said before. It's going to favor the top teams. It's not.
Yeah.
This is not something that's made to shuffle up the field. However, if you have more points up for grabs, that means that some teams will take more of a risk, and when teams take risks, things can go wrong. Just like anything could have happened yesterday with the race at the fastest lap, a bad pit stop, or as we saw, Max went for it.
It did.
And it got deleted.
Yeah.
Things like that. So you just never know.
Yeah.
It's just introducing the unknown.
Let's move on. It'll be an action-packed episode, so let's move on to the race review.
There you go. That's the thing right there.
Gentlemen, a short view back to the park.
Love that.
I love that drop. All right. So, regarding Portugal itself, qualifying, not really much to. Okay, there's a couple of things to talk about, but Lance Stroll, Daniel Ricciardo, both out in Q1. Lance Stroll, whatever, he sucks, right? We
still agree.
Yeah, but that car shouldn't be there.
Should not be down there. So
They can't get it together on that car.
Vettel actually made it into Q3, which is just, it was a weird disparity because we've seen the reverse.
How'd you feel
Yes.
about that?
How did
You
I feel
happy
about that?
Personally.
I mean, yeah, I'm happy about it, but it's weird, and I'm going to tell you why it's weird. Because we've seen Vettel struggle so much with the type of car that he's driving right now. It was interesting to see him being able to get on top of it, just like with the driving style change to the different rake style concept has been okay for Lewis so far. But to me, there was nothing really to write home about.
Yeah, I thought it was. I was actually excited because it looked like Aston Martin might have been in that midfield battle, but the way it played out, it just didn't really work out that way.
It gave you a little.
It was more of
couple of little glimpses, and you were kind
They
of.
were
You don't
more-
get it like.
it was very
get you awake.
It was very disappointing because there was
They don't have the proper car.
such high expectations for that team,
I mean,
and
they could go buy another car, but it's going to be tougher to buy now.
they could go copy the Red Bull now.
What do we think? Makes sense. The pink Mercedes and the green Red Bull.
Yeah,
The green bull,
the Green Bull.
and green is for the money.
It'll be one of the-
And green is for the money.
You remember that Red Bull introduced like these different flavors? That'll be that.
Get out of here. Oh my God. They can't do green. That's Monster.
The green mint.
Green for the mint.
Yeah.
Well, what do we think of Daniel Ricciardo out in Q1 as well?
Oh, that was. I don't. Seems like he couldn't get the tires working.
Which was the theme of the race.
Yeah, I mean the surface at Portimao is weird, and also the theme of the race it was tires, but it was also wind. The wind was very unpredictable, so maybe he got caught out. But it was disappointing because it seemed like he was getting on top of the car, and he actually had a good race too. But you gotta the results speak for themselves, man. You gotta get results.
Absolutely.
No, I think that I wasn't surprised for him being. I mean, yeah, you don't want him to be there, but when I say I wasn't surprised because this is a guy in a new car, so he's still getting adjusted to all of that.
Yeah, but out in Q3, bro.
Mistakes could happen.
Q1.
I mean, out in Q1. I'm sorry.
Mistakes are gonna happen. Things are gonna happen to the. Remember, it's a new car, so even pressing the wrong, I don't know, joystick or the wrong
joystick,
or pressing the wrong tab is gonna get you. Gonna get the car disgruntled. So. God. You never know. Obviously, he made up in the race, so which is what really counts.
Yeah.
And we know Ricardo. Is also overtaker. So
it would have been interesting to see how he would have paired up with or compared to Lando during the race if he had started up higher.
Something else of note: George Russell was literally 0.04 of a second from getting into Q3. That was actually nice, beaten out by Sebastian Vettel that we talked about earlier.
That's becoming quite common for Georgie there.
Is it? So wait, Latifi.
And he's fighting the car, by the way.
Latifi qualified 18th, and it was out in Q1. So it's not like the Williams is just that much better.
The one thing that we did learn about the Williams this weekend is that, for example, in qualifying, the car runs well. But when it is in dirty air and that you can hear it on the radio messages behind the car, it's undrivable. So it's very susceptible to that dirty air coming from another car. So if they're gonna have that issue, you're gonna keep seeing what George Russell is doing all year. But when it comes to the race, it's gonna be because they were actually excited. They might have been able to fight for points, but they were nowhere near the points this year.
Not this weekend.
They were fighting for
They were fighting
we know the story.
They were fighting the win more than anything.
No, but we know the story. If they get close to the points, Russell crashes and.
Oh man! So to round out the qualifying, Valtteri Bottas pole position. He denied Lewis Hamilton the 100th pole position for his career. Lewis Hamilton second, Max Verstappen third, Sergio Perez fourth, Carlos Sainz fifth, and then to round out the top 10, Ocon, Norris, Leclerc,
the gap
Gasly,
between
and Vettel.
I'm sorry, the gap between Bottas and Hamilton was what
7,000
of a second.
7,000 of a second.
So close.
So it was like what, less than a blink?
Yes, exactly. And terrifying to me. It's a little terrifying because Max Verstappen was 0.3 down from them. So then the question becomes, is Mercedes back? Did Red Bull miss out on the opportunity?
We'll get into that later.
Yeah, absolutely. So the race itself, man, what a boring race. It was one of those.
It's definitely not the most boring race we've ever seen.
No, that'll probably be coming up next week.
Yeah, for sure.
Yhancy's betting on that.
Yeah. No, but it was just, I watched it 1.5 times and it was a snooze fest both times. The people I was watching it with were like, is this what you get excited for? And I'm not really.
Should have given him a Red Bull.
Yeah. So it was a normal start to the race. It was a normal start. There wasn't really anything crazy until the accident where Kimi,
our boy Kimi, they did leave him alone. Left him alone, but he did not know.
Yeah, they left him alone, and he hit his teammate.
Not know what he was doing.
He was lucky. He was lucky that he didn't take out Giovinazzi with a puncture.
So he literally on the start-finish straight. What was it? Going into lap 2. Drove directly into his own teammate on the straightaway. Literally, nothing in his path. He must have just fallen asleep. He is old. Maybe he needed a nap. Not the best time.
Damn, that's messed up.
Whoa.
We're going to talk about my boy Kimi like that.
Yep.
Yeah, but no, that was a rookie mistake.
Yeah.
Thought it was Mazepin for that for a second.
That's what we expect from Mazepin.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the front wing, it broke in half. Part of it flew off, and then the other half got stuck under his car. He retired. He went into the gravel pit and retired right there. So safety car came out.
When I saw that, I thought he was going through there to maybe the grabber will help him get the wing out.
Yeah.
But
That would have been smart.
No,
that's what I thought. Like, okay,
he was going. He was
to
going towards the open.
I know, yeah.
Marshall's
obviously,
open.
that's what he went
Marshall's
to. But
post, yeah.
when I saw it, I was like, okay, an experienced guy like Kimmy, he's going to the grabber to hopefully get taken out or something. And
No, but that wing was
that would have been nice.
firmly in there.
But that would have been nice to see, though. Like, oh, look, an experienced guy.
Yeah,
Look what he did.
monster truck over
There
the
you
wing.
Yeah. Then at the restart, Max Verstappen was able to overtake Hamilton. Bottas actually
That was
fooled
actually
his
the
own
most exciting
teammate.
part of the race.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we were at the bar down in Fele, and we were getting excited. I was screaming, "Let's go, Max!" Because I wanted to see somebody.
Was that the part where the gentleman in the front by the bar was like just screaming at it to me, "Let's go, let's go"?
Yeah. 'Cause he seemed to be more of a Max fan than Wellington is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wellington woke up.
Yeah, well, the DJ Khaled.
Yo, oh man.
That's exactly what that guy did.
Yeah, but that was actually pretty exciting because it was a good fight there for a minute. But that was it. After that, it was like
It was just a snooze fest.
Yeah.
We had Hamilton take back the position. He overtook Bottas. So then he's in first, and then Hamilton in clean air, just forget about it, right?
Yeah. Well, Hamilton explained what happened there. This is when it was because it was Bottas and there was Hamilton.
Right.
He was right in Bottas' slipstream, and he was watching Max. So and what he did was he saw Max make a move, so he moved to block him. And in that movement, what he did was he took away his own slipstream and gave it to Max. So Max got Bottas' slipstream and was able to pass him. So that's exactly what happened there.
So
I thought Bottas was at the beginning. I was like, is Bottas was that Bottas' fault kind of stuff? Because he held the pack back by a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, he just wanted to be hung to dry, so he could at least take
what
off a
Ham
little
said was that the minute he wanted to see where Max was.
No.
So the minute that he checked on Max, Bottas took off.
Exactly.
So then he took off, and he was trying to defend Max. And again, what he did, he said he made a stupid mistake. It was his fault. He moved over, and in him moving over, he gave Bottas a slipstream to Max, and that's how Max was able to was able to get into that slipstream, and then gain the speed to get down the.
But it wasn't anything that Bottas could have planned, because how could you understand when he's going to be looking back?
Oh no, but Bottas
he just got lucky timing.
Yeah, but I mean, and then Bottas dictating the pace.
Exactly, that's what pretty much. It's like.
At that point, it's just a drag race going down.
Like any driver would try to do that. Like, let's be trying to hold everybody back so they could fight themselves, and I'm out.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh man, it didn't work for him.
But that was actually
the same thing he said. Like, hey, I was looking out for this guy.
Usually the restarts in F1 are fairly boring. There's nobody really passing. That reminded me of like a IndyCar restart where you got like everybody going wide, 3-4 wide, and everybody's. But that was at the front, so it was actually pretty exciting.
That start-finish straight is actually just a good start-finish straight.
Exactly.
Okay,
it's like that and
okay, paddle. Okay. Okay, paddle.
Imagine that on a Magello.
Jeez.
So then,
well, we know what happened last year. Remember?
Then bomb went off.
That was bad. Then Max was able to overtake. Man, I don't know how. I mentioned this to you guys before we start recording, but how Bottas always gets like a way worse pit stop than Hamilton. But he got where Max Verstappen got like a 2.3 or whatever second pit stop. Bottas had a 3.3 second pit stop, and then so he comes out on the same hard compound, but he's on a colder tire.
That's where the race was
like lost
for him.
Yeah.
And he kept gaining on him, but then he just never had enough.
That was a nice drift.
Yeah.
No, but that's where it was off. I mean, you couldn't. I was like, can you call that an undercut? It kind of is, but not really, because an undercut is more when you overtake in the pits. But effectively, it was. That's what it was. I mean, it wasn't that much of a lead. You lose an entire second in the pit compared to a 2.3 to 3.3. You're on cold tires. You can't really defend. So, And Max, Max is gonna go for it. So,
and that was it for the race, right? What else was there really to say about this race? Okay, there was a couple other things, right? Yeah. So at the end of the race, we had the battle back and forth for that fastest lap point, just kind of showing how important that point is in what hopefully becomes a tight race for the Constructors' Championship. So, what do we say?
Every point counts.
Yeah, we saw Valtteri Bottas pit, set the fastest lap. Then we saw Max Verstappen pit because Bottas was directly behind them.
Mm-hmm.
We saw Max Verstappen pit to try and get the fastest lap, but then his lap was deleted due to the track limits.
Yeah, he went super, and I understand why they deleted that lap, even though that wasn't a corner where the marshals were actually looking at, because they set out certain corners. They're like, if you go off on this
14,
corner, 14 wasn't one of them. But that's where 14 wasn't one of them. But you guys, we're all familiar with Monza and Parabolica, and then Parabolica's right before that straight. In Parabolica last season, or the past few seasons, they've been very vigilant on the cars going wide, because if you go wide, you get more traction
and a straight shot
to get into that straight shot. It's the same thing here in Portimao. You have that big long loop where they don't cut it off like a chicane like they do in Barcelona. So if you actually go wide there, that's an advantage to the car. I mean, that's an advantage to the driver, where they can get more grip and they can take off faster into the straight. So that's why they deleted his lap. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, he was off course. He was off.
No, he was completely off. He all four wheels off the track.
So this is 3 races, 3 track limit instances where it plays a factor. What I don't know. It's just a thing, right? As long as they clarify ahead of the race and they stick to the same rulings, should be fine, right? As long as it's consistent.
If they're consistent, yeah. The issue has been is that, and this is Red Bull's gripe, is that they haven't been consistent with the calls.
Mm-hmm.
And it just so happens that it's been going against them. So you don't get the fastest lap.
That's why Red Bull has a problem with it, because it's not helping them.
Somebody said it, I think, what's his name, said it on the broadcast, that now they've lost 2 races they lost a point and then they lost a race because of the track limits.
And they also lost out in qualifying because Max and Max had a point. I remember seeing it and I was like, it looks like Vettel was pushing Max out on that lap because he was going for it. Purple sectors, he was going fastest. He was going to set the fastest lap in qualifying, and then Vettel seemed to drift over, and kind of got him off course. So then he was upset with Vettel after the race also. But after qualifying, huh?
In Portimao?
That was in Portimao. Yeah, that was the reason. It was his lap got deleted, so that's why he was 3/10. And then he thought that he could replicate that lap. Obviously, he couldn't. Yeah. Tires, the wind,
urgency, and
a lot of things going on. But he was there or thereabouts. It wasn't like the Red Bull wasn't fast enough in qualifying to be up there with the Mercs.
So there's 2 other things I kind of really want to get into as far as this race. There was like a freaking war at the bottom of the top 10. It was, who was it? Ocon, Fernando Alonso, Daniel Ricciardo, Pierre Gasly. Like, it was just a constant, like, watching I wish the race director did a better job of focusing on that rather than at the top, or like, I don't know what they were doing, but like, I felt like
we found your job in F1, bro. It's not as an engineer; it's as the race director.
I need it. Let me in there.
I think you should. I think you have a good shot of it.
I have an easy solution: split screen. Like,
hello.
Yeah.
That could be too.
Hello, Liberty Media.
How much is the cost to split the screen? We're doing that. Yeah. Well, it's just a software. Okay, we're doing that.
Especially with these huge TVs that we have nowadays.
Jeez. Well, you guys have. I'm stuck on my CRT.
I watch it on my phone.
But all right. So that battle, one thing I was impressed. Alpine.
Yeah.
Are they back? You think they're back?
Back from where?
I mean, they were. I'll tell you what. what Aston Martin did this weekend and finishing all the way back in like where did they finish, like 14th, 15th place?
Aston Martin, Sebastian Vettel was 13th, and Lance Stroll was 14th.
Okay, that's where Alpine was the first two races.
Yes,
and we didn't think that they can be any faster than that. Now it's changed. So Alpine is now in the points in two straight races. Alonso was a beast on the second stint. He looked like the Alonso of old. Like, who's next?
Who's next? Yep. Who's
He
next?
absolutely was.
So I mean, I don't know, man. It's too early to tell, but if they can get in it, and Ocon is driving lights out too. Is that car good enough to be fighting with the AlphaTauris, McLarens,
For best of the rest,
and yeah, and
So that's one thing that I wanted to point out. I think we've seen. So remember how hot Red Bull and AlphaTauri came out. We've seen them both kind of take not a step back, but everybody else took a step forward, and they haven't. So now you're seeing the AlphaTauris. Actually, maybe they took a step back because you see Yuki Tsunoda not even in the points again, and Pierre Gasly
He can't even fight.
Yeah, he can't.
Oh, push now! You get.
He's like, I can't. Yeah, and we saw Pierre Gasly finish in 10th, and we know that he is better than that.
and and Gasly was saying in the interviews afterwards that it doesn't look well for them in the next few races either. So I don't know.
That 3 weeks between Bahrain and
Yeah,
No, I still think. I think it's one of the.
I think we could just get too excited, and then we get our hopes up for certain teams.
I think it has to do with wind, weather. It has to be with all that. It has to be with getting the tires warmer, getting the tire colder, all of that stuff. That's what they're fighting with now.
The variables.
Okay. So there's that. There is Mando Norris once again proving that he's a top talent. He is
the
a
most
top
consistent
talent.
driver outside of the top three right now.
Top 3?
Well, top 2, I should say. Yeah, because Bottas is definitely not consistent.
Well, no. So when you say top 3, I was thinking Perez.
Me too. I wasn't thinking about us.
Yeah, but Perez is not there yet either.
We keep talking about Bottas, and this is like a perfect opportunity. This guy's asleep at the wheel, Ruben.
No, it's just what to say that.
Yeah. So we're trashing him. This is perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, Bottas ain't doing nothing. This is that drop is like a bring up for him. He got to wake up, not me. Why I got to bring him up? He got to start showing. Bottas have to start showing to the race first before he get drops from us.
So yeah, the top 3.
So you were very excited for Bottas this
course,
weekend,
and I was absolutely
you
right.
your prognostication.
Yo, what?
Prognostication.
That's not nowhere like pregnant.
That's an SAT.
No.
It came true this weekend, but
It usually does.
there was I mean, the way he finished in Imola, there's not much more. He was like on the floor. Like,
Exactly. So just like
that was an easy one. That was like
exactly. So what do you do with stocks? You buy low, you sell high.
There you go.
So I'm ready to sell. Sorry about us.
I'm like, how much worse can you do?
I bought low and I'm
Yeah,
selling
but
high.
you know what? It's still, you know what? All right. But this is the thing with Bottas.
Go ahead.
Get pole position. Barely get pole position, but he did. Because aside from Max and Lewis, he wasn't that far off from them. But he's doing what Bottas does. He lost the lead. He got overtaken by Hamilton and he got overtaken by Max. Granted, the team didn't help him.
Right.
But we see Lewis Hamilton in the same car. Sometimes the team doesn't help him and he still wins.
You know what would have been bad this weekend? If Paris would have overtaken him too. Then you're like, whoa. Oh no.
And Perez has the same pace as him. This strategy messed him up too. But
he's coming.
what I'm saying is, Bottas is a good number 2 driver.
He's the best.
It.
He's the best number 2 driver.
But Bottas is
He's
like
not the best number 2 driver though.
it's like
Yeah, he's not
it's
bringing
like
the fight to Hamilton, so he's the best number 2 driver.
It's like
he's just barely pushing him.
It's like our friend George commented on social. Prince Quasi, he's a friend of mine from back in college, big F1 fan. He said, "Is Bottas doing Bottas things?" That's it, bro.
He's doing his job.
He's doing what he's gonna do.
He's getting paid to do.
He ain't gonna do nothing special. He's gonna be a good number 2 driver. That is it. Bro.
He's being the best number 2
Okay,
driver.
but did he bounce back from being 10th, crashing out? He did. So I feel good.
You know what?
Here we go. Pat myself on
Easy
the back.
pickings, bro. Easy pickings.
Dude, but
Low
that-
hanging fruit.
I think that the bouncing back that Joel's referred to right now was you just get that by showing up in a Mercedes. Yes or no?
He got the star on his hat. That's it.
Thank you.
I bought low and I'm selling high. I'm good.
Hey, you're making money.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so just to round out the, I guess the race results from Portugal here. Hamilton, obviously first place. Max Verstappen, second place. Very comfortably, might I add. Third place, Valtteri Bottas. Fourth place, Sergio Perez, who was like in no man's land for like the entire race because of that insane strategy that they had him on. He went, 51 laps on the mediums that he started with, the used mediums that he started with.
I like
Built-in traction control.
Yeah.
I like what Hamilton said when he passed him. Blue flag. Like he was. No, you're racing him.
Yeah.
He has yet to stop.
Here's the thing: Perez, he has a great ability to save his tires, much like what Hamilton does too.
No. Hamilton's tires resurrect because he says on the radio, "Oh, my tires are gone," and out of nowhere he starts putting fastest laps. So they resurrect.
But that's something that Hamilton has added to his repertoire, and he's just as good as Perez is doing. Perez has been doing it for a while now. For him to go, what did he go? 53 laps?
51 laps.
On the medium tires?
Yep.
Right.
Dude.
I think I could bring it up.
Insane. But what do
I'm bringing it up on the screen where you could see that
Mm-hmm.
Hamilton went 37, Verstappen went 35 to try to undercut, and which he did.
Mm-hmm.
Bottas, and you see Perez at 51. It's a big discrepancy.
What was the point of that strategy though? It wasn't to was it to hold up Hamilton?
I don't know if I could say that that's what.
I think
I don't think it worked if that was the case.
he was losing so much time that they probably was okay. Let's try to hold this guy up.
Let's see if the
let's
sauce
see
at
what-
the end could like make a huge
Let's see
difference.
something. Let's see if something could be done. But he lost so much time.
And we were talking about it during the race.
Like what
And
is this?
if he could get on the softs, but I think he came out with like a 25-second gap after he pitted, got on the softs. But that gap was consistent. The gap was consistent. It just kept at 25.
didn't
He wasn't really going any faster than anybody on those softer tires.
That was the thing that he went so far along in those mediums that if you would have put him on the softs, he would like, even lose more. The time that he lost by staying extra on the mediums, it would have been worse if he would have pitted and then try to do it on the softs because he would have lost even more.
Yeah.
He probably if they would have put him earlier, he would not finish fourth. He would have probably
He would have finished further back?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because you bring him in, but now you're putting the softs on lap 46? And you still got to do 20 laps on the softs. You're going to be.
But what if he pits around the same time he goes on the hards?
That could have been another option, but now you got to get into work and.
Did they start? They started on different strategies.
They started on the same
same.
strategy.
I mean, they were going on mediums.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man.
The top four all started. Both Red Bulls and both Mercedes both started.
It's
on
quite
used
possible
mediums.
that they threw away a double podium.
But can we give my boy Perez some credit too?
Why is that?
He's doing his job.
No, yeah.
He's not Albon all the way at the end.
No, he is, bro.
he's
Come
not
on,
doing
man.
He did it this
He's
week.
not doing his job.
He did it this week.
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah, he's not.
You don't
Albon,
think-
but
you-
like that bar should not be Albon, right? The bar needs to be your.
Gasly?
Yeah, but Albon would have finished sixth.
The bar needs to be you're beating Valtteri Bottas. That's the bar for Red Bull because right now you see it. What's happening? Mercedes is back on. They're back on top of their car, and Red Bull just kind of lost that opportunity
Guess
to
what?
gain some points.
I think the bar should be the goal.
Yeah, but do you think what happened to Perez was his fault?
no.
No. What I'm saying,
not
no.
at all.
But listen to my point. That I think that should be the goal. Pretty after I would say after the half of the year, after half season
break.
Yeah, after the break.
Because he's in a new car.
Yes, but look where he is in a new car. But we got Albon that came from AlphaTauri. So it's not the same car, but you're coming
Similar
from
practices,
exactly
whatever.
Same thing, Gasly. So He's doing better.
And it is.
This weekend at least.
They're not far off in the championship and the points. I just think that he got screwed over with the strategy.
The strategy didn't work for him. Just like Sainz. That's another guy we didn't mention. Sainz,
I would go out on a limb and say if they had Perez on a good strategy, that he would have been able to challenge Bottas and possibly beat him.
Yeah.
Like, can you pick anybody worse that they tried? Than Sainz this weekend for the strategy not working for him?
Yeah, that was pretty bad. Ferrari doing Ferrari things.
I'm bringing up the whole thing again with all the pit stops, but Sainz was the first person to pit. He pitted on lap 21, and from used softs onto mediums, that just kind of like he was in nowhere. He was nowhere with by the end of the race because they were just so done. And again,
he got passed by everybody.
He should have gotten on
because he was running right behind Charles.
He should have gotten.
That was not very smooth.
He wasn't smooth.
Yo, these are the worst segues.
So what?
I'm trying to get him to like, oh yeah, I gotta hit the button. Oh my god. All right, guys, is there? All right,
he wasn't very smooth this week.
He wasn't,
but it was. He
should have gotten those tires to work, but they're not gonna get them.
All right, so I'm sorry. Fifth place.
When you go 51 tires on the medium, it's the same thing that happened with Paris.
Yeah. Fifth place Lando, sixth place Leclerc.
Mando Norris, baby.
Yeah, but that was another guy, Charles Leclerc. I mean, we talked about him in the preview. He looked at the start of the race. He looked good, and then the race just kind of got away from him.
Yeah, he wasn't too happy with this weekend. He said he wasn't very consistent. I mean, people are expecting Ferrari to be up there now, fifth or sixth. That's kind of like their high point, but he wants to do better, which is a good thing, so you can push the team, and so does Sainz. So we'll see where they wind up. But I mean, they got to have both cars and good strategies, man. We got to get a points haul.
Dude, I think that's the theme of this year. What team has both cars on good strategies?
Or
I know
it's either that or the
Mercedes.
But besides the
not
top
Red
team,
Bull.
McLaren has been on the points in all three races this year.
Okay. But but even still,
it's a combination of either the team messing up or you have a driver that's just not used to the car. That's what's happened. That's the overarching theme so far this season is that you either during the race you have one car with a horrible strategy, they can't get these tires to work, or you have a driver who just can't get a hold of the car, and then you have changing conditions. It's just, I don't know, man. It's tough. I think the person who made who joined the new team or coming into F1 is Alonso. He did the best out of the new drivers going into the teams.
Killed it. Actually, they were
Alpine for me was a surprise of the week.
Yeah. No, Ocon.
Or Alpine, or whatever.
Ocon was also
Leclerc was sixth.
Yeah.
Ocon and Alonso 7th and 8th for their double point finish. Ricciardo 9th and Gasly 10th. Alpine looks good.
Yes.
So do we anticipate that they continue to develop that car? Just like last year. They started out real slow and then just kind of took off, like with Ricciardo getting the podium.
Well, what you're mentioning right now is the dilemma that all the teams have coming into this season. At what point do they stop developing this car or their current car to focus on the new car? And that is going to affect the teams at the top more, Red Bull and Mercedes, because at what point do they stop developing the car? Obviously, they're in a championship fight. They want to win the championship. You get more money. But at what point do you say, all right, this is where we stop. We got to focus on 2022 because that is a massive change. And all the teams are weighing that out. You already have some teams that are just saying, no, we're focused. Williams and Haas, obviously the teams in the back, they're already developing the car and they're getting more wind tunnel time too with the new regulations. That's gonna be like the elephant in the room the whole time during this whole season.
Especially for a team like that wants to be on the up and they want to be in the mix heavily.
Mm-hmm. But I think Alpine will see where they're at after the next race.
after Barcelona.
Yeah, because it could also mean that, it was windy conditions. I heard this mention. It's windy conditions. Their big change on that car is that big air box in the back.
Yeah.
Most teams try to make it smaller, but once you make it smaller, you're more susceptible to the wind. They weren't. So, and they ran well the entire weekend. Except, Alonso didn't have a good qualifying, but he definitely made up for it during the race.
So since you love Barcelona so much, this weekend,
Wonderful town.
at what
Terrible
lap?
track.
I'm sure you're being sarcastic there. Bro.
At what lap are you gonna start yawning?
Right after the start.
Lap
What?
half.
Before Mazepin spins?
Yo, can I just?
It'll be a great half a lap because obviously the race starts so great, and then after that, it's
You know
good
what?
legs.
So that to avoid that, I'm gonna tell the guy to bring you 2 cups of coffee right at the beginning of the race.
That
So
might-
maybe that will help.
and not as watery as he brought it this weekend.
Oh my
He
God.
brought me tea, not whatever, man.
And yes, is that tea? It looked almost
That's
clear,
it.
dude.
Can
No, okay. It's not cold. It's not tea.
Mazepin, I want to point out something. He was 5/10. He was the last place qualifier. He was 5/10 off of his teammate, who was 19th, right? In practice 1, he was 2 seconds off of whoever was the next person off as far as the lap. I think he was 8/10 in practice 2, and he was much closer in practice 3. But it's like, dude, and then he had the issue with Perez that he slowed down Perez. He was we'll say he didn't notice the blue flag rather than ignored it.
Well, his team
Get this guy out of here.
His team is supposed to tell him there's a car behind them. They admitted that was his fault, but he's way off. He looks way out of his league.
2 seconds a lap slower than everybody
He looks
else.
way out of his league. And Mick Schumacher, round of applause for Mick Schumacher, bro.
We actually talked about
Mick Schumacher got an overtake on a Williams.
Yes, he did.
Give him another one, bro. Oh yeah,
That was actually pretty exciting.
yeah.
that.
I mean,
That
for
was
the
actually
back,
pretty
come on,
exciting.
bro.
That's how boring a race it was.
Dude, come on, bro.
We're actually talking about
Best of the last.
Actually, Latifi overtook Russell and then he gave him back. Like that was a cool little battle, I guess.
Hey, listen, bro. You got to take the small victories where they come.
With this one, yeah, I'm taking the small victory.
Round of applause for Mick Schumacher again, boy. What's up, man?
Man, and can you do one for Mazepin?
Mazepin. Yeah.
That's the one.
You ain't getting nothing.
All right. Anything else to talk about with regards to this race? If we can call it one.
I would like for it to stay in the calendar.
Yeah, it just maybe
Because it throws up a lot of different circumstances.
the changes in elevation. Like I
Yes.
think it's a nice track.
Because last year the issue was the grip with the tires because it was raining.
It
So-
was raining in two turns, like one little
Yeah,
aspect.
I mean,
drizzle.
It's not going to throw up an exciting race, but it does give a lot of variables as to, the wind, the weather. It's not a straightforward weekend.
Maybe it's not like a couple of years deal. So eventually we got fans there, so we're able to go over there and see the car coming down on those elevation changes and stuff like that.
That's probably the coolest aspect
Yes.
of that track. It's just that the way it's like a roller coaster. So that's what they were saying.
All right,
Six
so-
Flags Great Portimao.
Yeah, the dog looks like a little dog. They're gonna split. Yeah.
On that note, let's move on to our Barcelona race preview. We're going to start it off with, as usual, our lovely trivia from Ruben.
Oh my God.
No clapping here, please. No clapping. It should be the.
This is what for the last trivia because it sucked.
Well, this is
For
your
40
chance
much
to
true.
make it better.
Right.
I'm gonna try.
What's the
On
score?
you. It's 5-1, I think, and you're up.
Let's go, bro.
Okay.
I'm like Hamilton. I want a challenge.
Wow.
Gotta do better, bro.
Okay.
Gotta
Go
do
ahead,
better.
So after, let's go back. Let's go into a little bit of trivia. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know. I don't want to
You still gotta make that a drop.
too dry.
Go ahead.
So in this track, Max became the youngest driver to win a Grand Prix, and it happened the race that I believe Rosberg and Hamilton collided,
crashed together, yeah.
and he took advantage of
Yep.
that. Can you name the youngest driver winner, Grand Prix winner before Max?
Vettel.
Alonso.
No, it was better.
Oh, motherfucker. I'm sorry.
That was a nice little curse. You looked disappointed with that one. So but you still get it.
But it was Alonso before Vettel.
I didn't go that far.
I'm right on that one. That was easy.
If you snap Vettel and he never existed, then yes, you're right.
So I don't know if you call this.
That doesn't make me feel any better.
So going to the next question. I have I would say maybe medium to hard, whatever, because this is also like one of those tricky questions.
Yeah.
In 1996,
Wow.
was Schumacher's first win with Ferrari.
Wow.
Can you tell me what was the highlight of that particular Grand Prix?
How the heck? No, I cannot.
The highlight of that particular Grand Prix? 1996?
Mm-hmm. Schumacher's first win with Ferrari.
Ooh.
I can't. Way before my time. I was just born.
I actually think that he's the one who's going to get it.
Was it a battle with what's this guy's name? No, Jacques Villeneuve. But why you gotta do? Come on, bro.
It was because of the
Heavy rain.
I
looked it up.
Oh, you looked it up.
Why are you looking? No.
I already said I wasn't gonna get it, so I was like, all right, let me check what it could be.
You can't be doing that though. That's done.
Okay, all right.
What?
For you,
Yancy?
huh? No, you can't be looking stuff up.
Oh, but he said he wasn't going to be part of it. So
It doesn't matter.
did.
Don't be
All right, whatever.
Oh, well, let's get it.
Let Ruben tell you.
What's the next question?
All right, so this one is also like another one. Yeah, I didn't even. Because
Dude,
you
you
were like,
making me feel
was it
like-
a battle? Nah, ain't no battle. Get out
I
of
thought it
here.
was a battle between him and Jacques Villeneuve. Is it? Yeah.
So I have another one for you. This is also like out there as well. So Rubens Barrichello,
You're who you were named after.
exactly, yeah, has the record for most DNFs here at the Spanish Grand Prix.
wow.
It's 7. Can you name the current F1 driver who can tie this record with a DNF this week?
Daniel Ricciardo.
Kill me.
Yo, he got it.
Oh no!
Why you want to kill me?
What's because he's the most
The
experienced
oldest, yeah.
driver.
Wow.
He's had the most laps. They said it.
It's either him or Alonso. It's not going to be Alonso.
Okay.
So we got 6-2.
No, that's it. That's
No, you don't have any extra credit
extra
ones.
bonus?
No. I got just a couple of pointers that I printed out. That's part of, you could say, probably
All right.
part of history. Whatever.
Lead us into the history. Yeah.
I kept my lead.
As we go back in history.
A short look back in the past.
So this obviously not only this track, but the country of Spain has always been very, I would say, they're very huge fans of racing. Period.
Yeah.
Like for example, not only F1 or any kind of car racing, and motorcycles. Or they, they're.
I would say they're more motorcycle racing.
Yeah.
Well, because there's more Spanish drivers.
And then,
he has shown that in attendance.
with Alonso,
Yeah, when Alonso was at his
became
peak.
huge.
Yeah.
F1 became huge, yeah.
So, for example, history of racing in Spain or Spanish, as far as like Spanish Grand Prix or whatever you want to call it, it goes back all the way to 1913.
Ooh.
So it's like at one point I think they even had an event celebrating the centennial race or whatever and stuff like that. The first Formula event they had was in 1951, and that race was won by Fangio.
Juan Manuel Fangio.
But in this track that we're in, we started in 1991.
The current iteration.
In 2013, it was supposed to be alternated between the Valencia Street Circuit and this one, but financial reasons it didn't pan out. Only 2 drivers have won a Spaniard Grand Prix or Spanish Grand Prix, if you want to call it. That has been Alonso, who did in 06 and 2013.
2 Spaniards, you mean? Sorry.
Yeah, Spaniard.
Okay.
And a gentleman named Carlos de Salamanca, who did it in 1913. So imagine
Salamanca.
Nobody remembers that guy, probably. Only 4 races here have been won from pole between 01 and 2019. So out of all of those races, only 4 has been won.
Damn.
That's
Really?
crazy.
Yeah.
Considering how... Oh, wow. I thought it would be way more than that.
Also, there's not many non-champions that have won in Barcelona.
Wow.
So the only non-champions that have done it have been Felipe Massa, Mark Webber, and Pastor Maldonado. That was his only win, by the way.
Yes.
Yes.
Quite
So that was one of
memorable.
my like preliminary questions in trivia that I was going to have. But I was like, "Is this going to be too easy because it's Maldonado? Like, how do I do this?"
Crash door.
Yeah. So most win by drivers is Schumacher with 6, followed by Hamilton with 5, and a bunch of other drivers have 3, like Nigel Mansell, Jack Stewart, and Mika Häkkinen.
Okay.
Most win by constructors is Ferrari with 12,
Wow.
followed by a 3-way tie for McLaren, Williams, and Mercedes.
How many?
I'm sorry, I didn't put that number,
Okay.
but I think it is 7.
Yeah.
Wins by engine manufacturer tied in first place by 4 Cosworth. It was Cosworth, but funded by 4, and Mercedes with 13, followed by Ferrari with 12.
Nice.
Sorry, that number is 8.
8
for constructors. Yeah.
And there's a highlight in history as well as in 1994, Michael Schumacher was able to finish second despite being stuck in 5th gear for most of the race.
So this is a good race for anybody named Schumacher, is what you're saying.
I hope so. Maybe his son, Ford Benetton, it was a car that obviously eventually won with that car
Kind
too.
of like
as well.
what
I know the Haas is never going to be
Kinda like
at the
what-
caliber of a Benetton.
kind of
or
like
Ford
what
Benetton.
Senna did in Brazil. That when he won his first Grand Prix in Brazil, he was stuck in like 5th gear or something, 4th or 5th gear, and he couldn't even lift his because his shoulders were all messed up. Because remember that at that point it wasn't this;
Yeah,
it was
actually shifting.
it was actually shifting. So he was, so he couldn't even like lift his shoulders up.
It's like driving on the cross bars.
Yeah, so
Like by Schumacher doing that, he had he used supposedly his world sports cars experience because he had to his driving style has to be modified so much that he had to change so many trajectories in the corner apex and stuff like that to be able to not be hindered so much because he couldn't shift.
interesting.
So I'm going to bring up the track map. Boom. It's right on screen. It's a little hard to see, but this is the best that I could find. It's the track that was used for testing, not this year, obviously, but traditionally it is, because it's got so many different aspects that are conducive to testing. It's got like the big parabolica style turn 3. It's got that everyone's favorite final chicane. It's got
special.
yeah. It's just got so many different elements that help test the car out. That traditionally that's where they go.
A lot of low speed, medium speed, and
Yeah.
high speed corners.
It is the most boring processional track normally, outside of Monaco. Obviously, that is a
At
special part.
least Monaco makes up for the glitz and glam and
The spectacle.
the spectacle.
So, predictions wise, here we go. So, what are we talking about as far as qualifying? Ruben, I'm going to tee you up first.
Qualifying. I believe we're probably going to get more of what we got this weekend, but I would say Max takes it this weekend. Paul.
Why do you say that?
Because of the loopy turns and stuff like that they have here, he might be because the Red Bull car has shown this year already that they are quick on all these little turns and stuff like that. That they have the aero package, followed by obviously Hamilton.
Okay.
Bottas, followed by Perez.
Okay.
5th, I don't know. 5th, it's a toss up.
What do you think, Yhancy?
Hamilton, Bottas, Verstappen, Perez. This is a Mercedes track, bro.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed.
I am in agreement. So I want to point out last year, 2020, qualifying went as Lewis Hamilton, Valtteri Bottas, Max Verstappen, and in a racing point, Sergio Perez, 4th. And then in another racing point, Lance Stroll, 5th. He did.
Oh, wow.
He got twins.
Yeah. So
I didn't know we had 2 Perez.
Yep.
It's good.
well, you know what it is, because that was a tracing point. They traced Perez as well.
Oh,
There you go.
that
They
makes
were
sense.
clearly
But
awesome at tracing.
it just goes to show how strong the Mercedes car itself was at Barcelona. That the tracing points were able to get 4th and 5th in qualifying last year.
So it was 4 Mercedes in the top 5.
So yeah, I'm gonna go with Hamilton, Bottas, and Verstappen. Where do we think that we see the Aston Martin cars in qualifying this week?
They're going to be where they're at right now.
Exactly.
They're not going to improve, even though it's a better track for them?
No.
Because their problem is with aero. Their problem is with the rake and the diffuser. They don't have, I mean, you have a lot of loopy, flowy corners that you need a lot of downforce. Mercedes got on top of that problem. Obviously, the Red Bull car is good, but I don't think it's as good as a Mercedes on this track. They still have a ton of problems. And it showed this weekend. And the layout for Portimao is not that much different than Barcelona. The only difference is that you have a lot of, up and downs, undulating corners and blind corners. Barcelona, for the most part, is not flat, but it's not as... There's not a lot of ups and downs as Portimao, but the track layout is very similar. So they're gonna be... It's gonna be the same thing.
So can you just picture Stroll's dad begging?
I like Ruben painting the picture.
For this information. How can it be leaked to us? We need it. How can we fix this problem? Toto, come on. Help me out here.
No way.
Help me out, Toto.
No way.
This is the reason why.
And Toto is like, you didn't listen to me.
Listen, the last time a team did what Aston Martin did during the offseason, which was hype up their team, was McLaren during the McLaren Honda days, where they were like, "Oh, we're better than this. We're better than this. We're going to be better this year."
When you mentioned
Yeah,
those darker days.
And then when McLaren changed their tune and said, "No, we're not that good. We're rebuilding," and then when you downplay that, and just the same thing what Ferrari's doing now, anything good that you do, even if it's a 5th place, is a victory for them. Be humble. Be humble.
All right, Kendrick.
Okay.
Yep.
Exactly. They shot themselves in the foot, thinking that they had a great car. The aero rules changed. They didn't have the resources, or they don't have the resources because they're not as big as a team as Mercedes, or experienced as a team as Mercedes, to get on top of that and make the car better. Be humble. Because then what happens is that when you get into that position, anything is a victory. Even a 10th place is a victory. But right now, they can't even crack the top 10.
Well, bueno, as they say. Race predictions?
I hope they bring some wine for the race then.
Yeah.
They're going to need it.
We got to bring the cheese, they'll bring the wine.
Yep.
Race predictions. I'll go first, I guess. What we've been talking about. It's a Mercedes track. I don't see them getting worse. I see the Hamilton, Bottas, Max Verstappen. Then you'll get a Perez, and you'll get a scrappy Lando fighting for 4th, but he won't make it at the end. I feel like this is just going to be the whole rest of the year. Those 4, and then Lando at the end. Right?
Yeah. I agree with you on that.
Throw Leclerc in there. I think Leclerc is going to make him move up.
Wow. Okay.
A hater.
Ruben, what do you got?
No, I would go Hamilton taking the race. And just because I don't have faith in Bottas as much as Wellington, I would say Max, Bottas, and then Perez. And like the same thing you said.
I want to defend myself. I don't have faith in Bottas, but I expected him to bounce back last week.
He just took the easy way out.
I'm selling high now.
He just said,
selling high.
How much worse can this guy do? Not worse than what he was at.
Nothing. What Wellington meant to say last week was like, what can this guy do just by showing up? Okay, this is what he did. Perfect. That's it.
Bottas is Bottas, man.
And what is the score he's gonna get? A person can get just by showing up to the test and putting their name.
Every time we got excited, Bottas 2.0, Bottas 3.0.
I'm thinking about our drop. I'm thinking Niki Lauda once said, "A monkey could drive because." Yeah, that car is so.
Like every time he gets an upgrade, a virus hits him, and he's just like Bottas 1.0 again.
0. Bottas minus 0.0.
Bottas is Windows 98.
So what did you say? What did you say is your prediction for this race?
So it'll be Hamilton, Max, Bottas, Perez, and the same thing you said. It will be Lando scrapping throughout the whole race, but Lando will be scrapping between 4th and 5th. He will not be 4th and 3rd.
Okay.
And 5th will be
5th Lando, and then.
Do you know You threw a wrench in my prediction
Why?
Why is that?
because you said that.
Bottas 2.0?
No. Windows 98 Bottas.
Oh my god.
Because you said that the pole winner has only won what, twice, 3 times?
4 times.
4 times. I said pole was going to be Hamilton.
So you think Max is going to take it?
But there's not really overtaking in this track that much. It's usually a procession.
Red Bull has to show up first. They have to show up and get the package.
Hamilton, Verstappen, Bottas.
4th, 5th?
4th, I am going to put Perez, Leclerc 5th.
So we all the top 4.
Stop being a hater. Be humble.
Yeah.
Be humble.
That's for your 5th.
Stop being a hater.
You want somebody more humble than McLaren? There's nobody's more humble
Speaking
than
of
McLaren.
that, do we think Ricardo does anything this year? Or this season? I'm sorry, this race. Does he get to 6th? Does he push for 5th?
I think he'll be closer to Lando.
He'll eventually get closer.
He'll get there.
But remember, as to get closer to Lando, then you're gonna now face Leclerc, and now if the Alpine is there, then you're gonna face those 2 guys that also back and forth. And let's not forget Gasly
And Sainz.
and
Tough,
His
man.
home race.
this guy. Now this is a perfect time for it. Not earlier when he was messing up.
Fastest lap?
Fastest lap. Whoa. Hamilton.
Hamilton, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no trick at the end. No.
No.
Yeah.
Yo, so I did not.
That's if That's if Yhancy gets to the end.
If he doesn't fall asleep,
Exactly.
he needs some.
No, you know what? I'm going to go with Perez fastest lap.
Really?
Whoa.
How?
Because I think he will probably be. What we're seeing is that if you got the top 2 teams, 4 cars are running up there, they can run up a 25, 30-second lead from the next team down. That if they're running close, Perez probably has the best shot at pitting at the end and getting a
good
fast
point.
lap.
That's a very good point.
So I'm going to go with Sergio Perez with fast
So
lap.
similar to what the team's trying to do this weekend.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's a very good
exactly.
point.
But in this weekend, since there were so many strategy mess ups, to put it nicely, I would use it another way.
Hiccups.
Yeah, hiccups, whatever. There was enough gaps between those top 4, but I don't think that's gonna happen again. So I that's why I think, and I don't think that Perez is still. He's getting better in that car, but I don't think he's still up to where he should be. So he'll probably be running last of that top 4 group. So he'll have the chance to put on those soft tires and go for it.
Okay. Poor Charles.
Yeah. So that wraps up our race preview. One thing that we didn't get to before, but just the standings, driver standings. First place is Lewis Hamilton with 69 points. Nice. Max Verstappen with 61. Lando Norris third with 37.
Mando.
Mando. Valtteri Bottas fourth with 32. Leclerc fifth with 28.
What's up, baby? Charlie!
Sergio Perez sixth with 22. So we see that the teammate battle, the Perez versus Bottas, is really what's driving the constructors. The constructors, Mercedes first with 101, Red Bull second with 83, McLaren third with 53, Ferrari fourth with 42, and Alpine fifth with 13 points.
What's notable there is that Mercedes is not running away with it.
So far.
It's 3 races in.
Wow. Though we couldn't say that last season.
Well, this time last
races
season
in.
we didn't have anyone.
What happened?
At this time last season we didn't have one
Well,
race.
I think this race is going to be really pivotal for the whole championship.
Yeah.
Because then, well, I shouldn't say that because after this race
we
is...
still got so many races.
Yeah,
left, though.
after this race is Monaco, and we expect the 2 Red Bulls to...
Yeah, that's
Dominate
where
there.
they're gonna shine, and
then,
that's a race
McLaren
where.
is going to be nice there too. Oh my God!
But I don't think they're gonna be as good as
Why not? They have the chassis, they have the aero, they have Daniel Ricciardo, who's already won the race and almost won it another time.
They don't have Red Bull aero. They don't have Red Bull aero, bro.
So the question: if Mercedes brings to Monaco a similar barge like the Red Bull barge, does that give him a little advantage in the track as well?
I don't think so because the car design philosophies were so different.
I'm talking about the after party barge.
Oh.
My man is so focused.
No, you know what? I'm a little hungover. So.
Thank you. Welcome
back. The energy station.
The big
Red Bull
building they put in there.
I thought you were talking about the rear wing.
The barge?
Barge board. I don't know. And on that note, let's wrap this thing up. Oh, man. Guys, make sure to follow us, like, subscribe, drop a review.
Yes, sir.
Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeart Radio, TuneIn, and Stitcher. That's where you can find us. We're also on YouTube. Hello. We are on Instagram.
Everybody wait for the camera.
Yep.
YouTube. What's up, baby?
Instagram and Twitter at Jump to Start F1. Make sure to, you can't dislike Yhancy's pictures, but leave a comment. Voice your disapproval for his making fun of me.
That was funny.
It was.
Anything else, boys, before we wrap this up?
That's it, bro. Vamos.
Let's go.
Let's go to the most boring race of the season.
See you then.